So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Me Too movement. I know it's a sensitive subject. However, it was started in 2006 to help survivors of sexual violence. Particularly, it was designed for young women of color from low wealthy communities to find pathways to healing. Their vision has been and always has been to address the dire need and resources for survivors of sexual violence and to build a community of advocates driven by survivors. This is actually from their official website, just so you know. Now, moving on. Their hashtag #MeToo took just 6 months to become viral. It was founded by a woman named Tarina Burke. On Facebook alone, there was 12 million posts, comments, and reactions in less than 24 hours. In the U.S. alone, Facebook said 45% of users have had friends who posted Me Too. On Twitter, the hashtag was tweeted nearly 1 million times in no more than 48 hours. This was the result of Elisa Milano on Twitter encouraging more women to come forward, and also Gwyneth Paltrow, Ashley Judd, Jennifer Lawrence, Uma Thurman have all tweeted about it, and there are others, too many to name. They all say it is hard to come forward about the sexual assaults. At this point, however, there really isn't no hard line on the issue. It seems as though it is a free for all to just accuse anyone of anything. I mean, let's ask ourselves something. What is the line between harassment and assault? Don't get me wrong. There is no way, in shape, form, or way, do I think that sexual harassment nor rape is acceptable in any shape, form, or way. In fact, I take a hard stance against it. However, it has turned into a witch hunt. People's careers are ruined. And this happens years later after the fact. This is why we said no hard line. It's become a campaign of he said, she said. Look at results of Joe Kramer. Judge Thomas, way back in the day, okay, had the result of what happened to Judge Kavanaugh recently happen to him. And again, it was by the Democrat Party that did it. They tried to stop him from entering the Supreme Court. They just tried to do it again with Kavanaugh. So you have to understand that. Look at what happened today. Bill Cosby was arrested today. Originally, he was granted house punishment at his house because of his age and his poor health. But that wasn't enough for these women screaming. That wasn't enough for them. They wanted to see the old man in prison. Now, like I said before, it's kind of a tricky thing to go over. However, from what I can see, it is nothing more than a witch hunt. I mean, it's getting to the point now to where if you're a man, you have to feel very uncomfortable in a sense of trying to pursue a woman. I mean, we literally cannot look at them. We have to look down at the ground damn near. That's how bad it's getting. It's too easy for a woman to say you're treating them like an object. It's too easy for them to try to say that you're doing this inappropriately or this. So honestly, fellas, work-related issues, I would say do no more than a handshake. Honestly, there's nothing else that's safe. I mean, you can't pat them on the back anymore. You can't say that they're looking good today. You can't acknowledge any of those factors because it's just too easy of a thin line for them to cross with it. Numerous people in the industry are really losing their credibility. They're really losing their jobs. They're losing a lot. And some of the women that are a part of the Me Too movement have actually said the world would be better if we could decrease the male population by 48%. So you got to understand, this is a reoccurring theme. I don't know if you noticed in some of the previous episodes, and the reason for that is because this is one of the biggest movements going on. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. It's just, how could you literally get away with saying this? I mean, some of these girls, you're talking 30, 40 years ago. Oh, this man did this to me and I was traumatized. Really? You were traumatized. So it took you 20 to 30 years before you came forward to acknowledge the fact that it happened. Really what it was something happened that you saw them and thought, hey, I'm going to do this. Now, it is kind of a personal issue to me because I've seen too many friends of mine go down for stuff that they didn't need to go down for. A long time ago, it wasn't uncommon, for instance, in certain neighborhoods to where a woman would have her friend sock her in the eye to make sure there was a black eye, then call the police and say that the guy did it, just because they were upset or angry at him and they wanted some form of revenge. That's what we're talking about here. It's basically the same thing in a media platform. You really have to look at this perspective. I mean, okay, how many women can honestly say, if they're in a club or a bar or any event for that matter, and a guy comes across them that they find cute or sexy or whatever, I bet you anything, no matter, unless it was really bad, he could compliment her. He could say how good she's looking. He might even get away with touching your shoulder, and she's not going to bat an eye. Now, fast forward that a little bit. If a guy that she finds unattractive says the same thing to her, she's going to cry out that she's an object and a guy is objectifying her or harassing her. That is the line we're talking about. Where is the line? I mean, are we not allowed to open up the door for you? Are we not allowed to pull out the chair for you? Are we not allowed to compliment you? Let us know, because there are a lot of guys right now that are starting their own movement of refusing to work with females for this very reason, because you're ruining guys' careers because you're agitated. This is a really big deal. This is really going on. I mean, we're talking, it's been going on for months, but we're talking millions across the globe are getting into it. And people are going down every single day, it seems like, more and more for this faulty cause that at one point was actually meant for colored women. I want you to remember that that's what the founders said. I made this for women of color from low-income communities. Why did she say that? The reason why is because a lot of women feel like if they live in these type of areas that there is little to no help for them. But if they lived in an upscale neighborhood, then they would be plenty of help for them. That's the reason why they said that. You got to understand that. It's just mind-boggling to me where we're coming to in a society. It's getting worse than that. I mean, if you go away from the Me Too movement and you look at the whole scenario as a whole with the gender equality thing we were talking about before, I mean, literally, if say somebody was giving a speech somewhere that they're getting paid to give, and they say, "Ma'am, can you please excuse me?" There are men getting attacked for saying, "Ma'am, can you please excuse me?" because they assumed that that was a female based on their appearance. So are we getting to a point in society where we have to literally stop what we're doing and say, I'm pardon me, I'm sorry. Are you a male or female? Because I need to know before I say what I was going to originally say. I mean, that's literally where we're getting at. And the Me Too movement is really making efforts to make it to where, as men, we don't have rights to even approach women. I mean, really, what's the bottom line here? I'm willing to bet there's a lot of men out there that a lot of women would be like, they could do whatever they want to me. But if you're just an average Joe, don't even bump into a woman. I say that I don't have her name right off the top of my head, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but there was a woman at some point to where it was in a crowded line, and the guy accidentally bumped into her, and his hand accidentally touched the side of her butt. And immediately, she was seeking for law enforcement to come because he harassed her. He just bumped into her. He got bumped into himself. But that's what we're getting at. The guy gets arrested and goes to jail, and for the rest of his life, he has to register on this registry for sexual offenders, all because some woman got bumped. That's what we're getting to. And if somebody doesn't say something, if something doesn't happen, it's going to get worse. You have this whole other thing. Part of the Me Too movement started another thing to where they're talking about how men set. We set with our legs open. We do this for a very particular good reason. You have to have the genitalia to understand that reason. However, a lot of women are saying it's a form of objectifying them. It's not. It's not a form of objectifying. It's just the most comfortable way for us to set. I don't want to go into detail about what that reason is, but if you have half a brain cell, you could probably comprehend what I'm going at with that. But this is getting ridiculous. This is just getting way, way out of proportion here. Don't get me wrong. when I talked about Bill Cosby earlier, if he did the crime, he deserves to do the time. But that's not the issue I see. The issue I see is, why did it take the people so long to come forward to say it? And you can't tell me I felt like if I did, it would do this or that. No, it wouldn't. You didn't because something happened in a way to where it helped your career. Now you feel the need that you're on top to actually accuse them of something. That's what happened. Cut the bullshit. I'm tired of hearing that. Because since the 1980s, in the middle of the late 1980s, I should say, you had women groups through the feminist organizations throughout the whole world, let alone the United States, a good portion of them, to where if you were touched inappropriately, if you were doing this, or this happened to you, there was places for you to go to make those reports. There was special Law and Order SVU that's actually based on a real division, a real police division, that are dedicated to prosecuting people who commit these atrocious crimes, including fondling when not wanted, including sexual harassment, including rape, including all those type of things. It doesn't matter your celebrity status. It does not matter how much you make. It does not matter where it took place at. All that matters is, do you have a legitimate case or not? Now, they're going to social media. They don't even have a legitimate case. They're just straight up just saying whatever, and people are getting their whole lives turned upside down, ruined. Families are broken up because it's just too much for their spouses to take. This is what's going on. And the whole time, the women are doing it are just kind of rubbing their hands together. There's even other celebrities. Just recently, Matt Damon got in hot water for saying how he feels that the movement is a witch hunt. This got him in hot water. He's lost a couple deals over it. Morgan Freeman was another one who got in hot water over a very, very small, insignificant thing, but he lost a lot of contracts due to it. What these women are really doing are trying to ruin men's careers. They're trying to ruin them. You got to remember that one of their high-ranking members said the world will be a much better place if the men population will decrease by 48%. What that tells me, being the fact that this is one of their leaders of their organization, what that tells me is that's actually what their leaders want. See, there's always more to every side of the story. Now, I've seen a lot of people do a lot of fucked up shit, and some of those people deserve to go to jail for it. I'm not denying that. If a guy comes up to you that you don't know and smacks your ass, by God, you have every right to grab something and hit him over the head with it. Or to have him arrested, because it's inappropriate. It just simply is. This is the reason why in the late 70s they started giving all these work seminars on sexual harassment. Now, there are women out there that have used their bodies to advance their careers. Plain and simple. Nobody can deny that fact because it's just a known fact. It really is. That they'll do it just to, move up in their company or get a position. And, I kind of feel like that might be some of these cases when people are trying to strike it in Hollywood. I mean, if you go to Hollywood, California, you're going to notice something. Go to any restaurant in Hollywood and tell me, how many times during the course of your vacation did you see waitresses walking around with headshots? The reason for this is they are extremely desperate to break into Hollywood. Now, I'm not saying that a person should use their position for anything. I mean, if the guy feels like they're not worthy of getting the deal, then they just aren't worthy of getting the deal. So let me get that out of the way right away. Now, if a girl's saying, hey, what if I do this to you? Will you sign me then? If the guy's a dumbass and does it anyways, then he's a dumbass and did it anyways. And the girl's a slut for doing it in the first place. You should get by on your own morals. Just saying. Now, this is why the Me Too movement to me is just ridiculous. I mean, honestly, it shouldn't even be a movement. Things happen. Prosecute them. Why do you have to you brought so much more into it than what needed to be. I mean, originally the Me Too movement was started out of a very good cause. It really was. I mean, it was started to help victims of sexual violence, and particularly young women at that. That is a very amazing and outstanding cause to stand behind. But when you have all these other people jumping on it to launch their careers or to make themselves known whenever they're dying out anyways, or because they got a vendetta against some person because that person might have told them this or that, and they just have a pure, simple vendetta against them, that's where your organization loses all credibility. And that's that. You lose all credibility. I mean, let's not... 15 minutes into it, I'm almost done with this whole subject because it's just... It angers me that there isn't a line. I mean, you're ruining people's lives without a clear understanding of what you want. It's, it's ridiculous. It's ludicrous, really. There's cases of college girls right now trying to go after college deans, different fraternity brothers, all kinds of other stuff, simply because somebody broke up with their friend or broke up with them. So they said, me too, this happened. Everything is me too, me too, me too. Is it really you, me too, or are you just pissed off at somebody? We want to know. I find it really interesting that one of the people that was supposed to testify eventually at one point said that she did not want to testify. Now she's been pressured and now she's willing to testify, but he cannot be in the same room. Why? He can't hear what you have to say. His lawyer can't, say, hey, this isn't right, and it's not right. This is what actually happened. I mean, that's where the witch hunt comes in. What's the definition of a witch hunt? A witch hunt is something that is just kind of like, hey, by the way, let's look at it like the Salem witchcraft trials. Well, I heard old judge over there was a witch, and my daughter told me this, and my neighbor told me that, and let's hang them. Let's kill them. That's basically what you're saying is, well, this girl told me a while back that this individual did this to her. Well, how long ago was it, man? Well, it was about 20 years ago. 20 years ago? That's what we're going on now? 20 years ago? Wasn't the statute of limitations for rape 5 years? Now, again, I'm not justifying rape. I'm just saying there is a legal precedent statute that says after 5 years, you cannot be prosecuted for it. After 5 years. So now, because of the social media movement, people are being prosecuted for stuff that they did back when they were in fucking high school or early college years. And they're gray-haired old men, well-established, have families, credibility, and one person comes along and says, fuck that statue, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to make your life fucking hell. I honestly feel like in recent events, as far as I want to back up a little bit and honestly go on record saying that with the whole Judge Kavanaugh thing, if he did it, he should be punished for it. However, I don't feel there's enough evidence to support the fact that people are trying to say he did it right away. He was known as a Boy Scout basically at his college, and he didn't, go out of his way to go to parties and rush and, all that other stuff at Yale when he was going to school there. So I really kind of feel like this is a person that just wants to get famous. She's probably going to try to release a book, something along those lines. I also kind of feel like the Democrat Party, based on the fact that they tried to pull the same thing with Judge Thomas years ago, when Judge Thomas was an African-American judge that was Republican, and the Democrat Party tried everything they could to get rid of him from that seat, and including women coming forward saying that he harassed them. Now, years later, they're doing it again. Democrat Party is doing it again. They're up to their old tricks, and I feel like they're paying these women to say it, because just 2 weeks ago there was one woman, now there's two more. And if that doesn't work, I guarantee you, you're going to hear there's about two other ones. So, like I said before, this is going to be a little bit shorter of a show because I really don't like to do what I call free-balling a show. I don't like to just go off the hinge without an actual other person talking to me. I don't like to go in that much detail unless I know a lot about the movement. So what I have gone over are stuff that's been verified, and there's facts out there that support that, including the Me Too's actual website that they put out. I did some research on that for this. I've done some other research into social media platforms and how much they exploded after it. I will say that I do think that it's another form of feminism that is trying to get rid of men in prominent positions. These women do not want men in prominent positions because they feel like men are nothing more than, men. and they want it to be an all-female regimen, and that's not feasible. I'm sorry to tell you, it's just not feasible. If I go on to it, I'm going to sound like a complete sexist, and so I don't want to do that. But there are some really questionable things here, like, why does it take them years later before they come forward? Why is their ultimate goal to ruin careers? Where's the hard line? And when did it become okay for he said, she said to become acceptable forms of prosecution? He said, she said should nowhere in any court of law be acceptable as testimony. You cannot just say, well, Billy Bob down at the supermarket told me that this happened. You can't say, I was at the gas station the other day and Melissa was at the other pump and she was telling me that this thing happened about 15 years ago and I felt the need to create a hashtag and get behind this hashtag and blow her up. Now she's feeling pressure to actually say something about it. You got to understand something. You got to understand some basic psychological principles to this. It's ridiculous. This is pure simply a witch hunt. This is to get rid of prominent men in prominent positions so it makes room for more females to become prominent and get prominent positions. And if you want prominent positions, more power to you. March on. But don't do it by ruining the credibility of other people just because you want their spot. That's not acceptable. And I hope every single one of them gets exposed for the phonies that they actually are. Am I saying that there isn't some type of sexual harassment going on in Hollywood or in the music business? Absolutely not. It's well documented that there is. It's also well documented, however, that a lot of women and men do things sexually to advance their careers. It's only recently, since 2006, that so many of them are saying, they harassed me. I didn't have nothing to do with it. They harassed me. I didn't want to do it. I was pressured to do it. Do you understand the ironicity of what I'm saying here? I mean, it is ironic when you think about it, because it's taken that. I mean, you're talking years later. Call me crazy. I think it'd be more plausible if it happened like, even 2 months ago. Hell, even a year ago. But to say it happened like 15, 20 years ago, you're being ridiculous, and you're really going for a long leap here. You're going for a long reach. And you shouldn't be doing it, because you're making yourself look like a jackass. You're making the industry look like a jackass. We're losing some very talented people in this world. We're losing powerful politicians, powerful teachers, powerful professors, all because some girl has a vendetta against them. Now, I'm not saying let's go men, let's go to war. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, quit just saying Me Too without actually investigating. Was it plausible? Did it really happen? If it did happen, why did it take this? There's got to be more questions to be answered here. It can't just be, person told me this. It can't be that. I mean, that's not plausible. And for that matter, why are we ignoring the statute of limitations in the first place? The statute of limitations have been in place for years. It's 5 years. Cut and dry. Now I guess it could be whatever they damn well please, because you're bringing media spotlight to it. To be frank and honest, that's what it is. It's only recently, since 2006, and the only reason why they're getting away with it is because so much of social media has gotten behind them. When you look at the numbers, I want to put this in forms of business here. So when you look at the numbers and you see that 45% of all users in the United States have posted Me Too at some point, or have known somebody, family or friends or otherwise, to post Me Too, right? That was in 2006, mind you. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's 12 million posts and comments and reactions in less than 24 hours. 45% of users in the U.S. 12 million worldwide. 45% in the United States. Twitter, the hashtag was tweeted nearly 1 million times in less than 48 hours. Now, I want you to put that in perspective of understanding that there are women. I'm not saying that there aren't victims out there, because there is. And if there are, I really feel like the dudes that did it to you should be prosecuted. But I do not, under any circumstance, think it's okay for you just to say that they did it because you're angry at them. That they did it because you're mad at them. Because I've seen that work so many times. I really have. I've known a lot of girls to have their friends choke them and hit them to get men they were mad at arrested. You know what I mean? I've even seen and heard of cases of women that have gotten into a relationship and their current boyfriend say that motherfucker needs to go, and the woman go, allow them to abuse them to leave marks, and then they get like a friend or two and the current boyfriend to say that the other guy went off on them, so there's 3 people in the court that could actually verify that. And then normally 9 times out of 10, the guy's, sitting by himself at the house and has no credibility at that point because he was at the house. So there's nobody with him. You know what I mean? To verify that he was at the house, and then bam, he's arrested. This is the reason why I don't support this movement. It's just too easy for people to fabricate stuff. It's too easy for people to make stuff up. It's too easy for them to try to ruin people's credibility with very little evidence to support what they're saying. It's just far too fucking easy. And that's the problem. It would be really different. Really extremely different if there was more evidence to this. But there's not. There's really not. This is just, anything. How many men have been groped by a woman and not say anything? I'm pretty sure that there are women bosses out there that have done stuff inappropriate to lower level employees, but they get away with it because guess what? In the man world, you ain't going to go around saying that because you're going to be looked at like, what's your fucking problem? You know what I'm saying? Really? Tell me more. So I do think it's easier for women to get away with saying it or to make accusations, because as soon as they start, doing their little dotty eye thing, as soon as they start doing their little eye bashing and, their little crying story, the whole world wants to lean on them. Now, once it's verified that they're full of shit, then everybody's going to be like, well, fuck you. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Like I said before, the movement itself, there are very worthy causes within that movement. There are things that need to be done. There are monsters out there that should be arrested for the crimes that they have done against women. There truly are. And especially when they're a person of prominence, wealthy, meaning they have power within their communities, you're damn right. They should be prosecuted for it. But just because they're an opposite political party than you, or just because they didn't give you that role you wanted, does not give you a right just to make up some shit without hard evidence to back it up, especially if you're going against the statute of limitations. That's my biggest deal, is 5 years of statute of limitations, so now we're waiting 20 plus 30 years. Now it's okay? So let's throw that statute of limitations out the window. Let's rewrite that, because a bunch of women are in the middle of the Supreme Court yelling and screaming every single day. Do you know the whole time that Kavanaugh was going through this whole thing with, that whenever his questions for getting a job, there was members of the Me Too movement screaming and yelling throughout the whole fucking thing, to the point to where it disrupted the process. You get what I'm saying? There's cases of women jumping guys who are giving lectures at universities, smacking and hitting them, yelling "Me too," calling them a pig and a rapist and a Nazi and this and that. It's getting far too carried away here. We need to draw some lines. We need to draw some boundaries here. Let's, come up with some shit to fix the problem. Because you're not fixing a problem. You're making it worse. You made it go viral, and now you got people that are just pissed off at somebody saying some shit without hard evidence to back it up. And they're managing to get away with it simply because of like I said before, the social media is getting behind it. Like, wow, we got to get behind this shit. You don't. You know what I mean? Like I said before, I will leave it off at that. There are very good causes for the Me Too movement. What they were formed for is a very just cause. And I do feel the need, and I do understand it, and I do think it's a good thing. The part of it that's not good, however, is the part of it that's damaging people's lives without evidence to back up the statements that they're saying. They're literally just sending off a picture and saying that this person did this to me. And that person gets pressured to lose their job. Because guess what? Upper management, they don't want that in their face. They're going to do everything they can to get that negative person out of that spotlight, because they don't want that spotlight on their company. So they're like, I'm sorry, I know you're saying you didn't do this, I know that. But such and such female said you did do it, so we're going to let you go. That is literally what's happening. You're like, well, where's the evidence? I've been with this company for like 10 fucking years. Where's the evidence? I've been a loyal employee. I don't understand. Why aren't you backing me up? Because they don't want the negative publicity with somebody not getting fired because some girl said it before just cause. That's the issue I see. We need more evidence to back up their claims. Every day in America, throughout history, there has been somebody wrongfully charged or later been found innocent because of some female that got upset out of them that made up a bunch of shit. But now, before, you could say, oh, that's just a crazy female and she's saying whatever because she's mad, and people would be like, oh, well, that's kind of out there, They might talk to her, but they're going to be like, well, that's kind of fucking out there, But now they got this whole movement behind them. Nobody's batting an eye. They're just like, yep, it happened because she said so. What the fuck? That's the issue. What do you mean? Well, blah, blah, blah said this, and, you've been retweeted like 30 times. And we don't need that kind of publicity here, so we're just going to let you go. We know that there hasn't been no evidence against you, and she don't have no evidence against you, but, we don't want to even deal with it. So that's what's going on. You know what I mean? That's what's going on. Now, if they do the 5-year window and they say this bastard, fondled me inappropriately and touched me inappropriately or harassed me sexually, and this is how it happened. I have video evidence. I have like 4 different witnesses that could verify that this happened, or I have pictures, or I have, messages. Then I'm going to be like, that bastard needs to get arrested. That motherfucking asshole needs to get his ass beat. But if you don't have evidence backing it up, then I'm sorry. You don't have evidence backing up your statement. You're just blatantly slandering somebody's name with zero fucking evidence. That's the issue with the Me Too movement at this point in time. When it first started in 2006, it was a very great cause. But now, it is a very bad cause that's causing a lot of bad shit to happen. The comedian lately, he said that he went on a date, for instance, right? He thought everything was going good. The girl was a photographer, He said, hey, let's go back. We're going to get some drinks. And they were on a date. And he thought things were going good. And she said, whoa, you're moving too fast for me. And he said, whoa, let me, back up. And he sent her a text message saying, hey, I'm sorry about that the other night. Hope everything gets better for you. But because she did that, he has lost numerous contracts, numerous gigs, numerous everything. She's ruining his career just because she said something. That is a problem. This is the problem. When did that become okay? Well, they said this. So I think that a lot of men should go out and start a Me Too movement too. Being like, well, she said this, and Bob over here could verify that. It ruined some females' careers. Maybe then it could be equal and the playing field be kind of equal, and, who knows what could happen after that. I mean, really, females do bad shit too, just like guys do bad shit. But we're living in a time period where if you're a guy, that's a bad thing. They're literally treating us like we're monsters without us actually being monsters. You're automatically labeled a sexist. You're automatically labeled an asshole. You're automatically labeled a pig. All because you said, you look good today. You want me to pull that chair out for you? Or vice versa, like that the comedian happened to him, where he was just on a date and, he thought, hey, I'm going to go for it, And she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. A couple days go by and all of a sudden she's doing a hashtag me too. Blah, 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 did this to me. Whoa. What? That's basically what we're dealing with. That's not what I did. I even sent her a message saying, hey, I apologize about it. I didn't mean for it to get carried away. I'm sorry. I cut it off whenever I realized, hey, no means no. You know what I'm saying? But she wants to get famous off of it, so that's what she's doing. People need to understand that a lot of these movements might start out with just causes, but end up with people using it to do no more than farther their careers or farther their name. They want their name out there, so they're going to get behind these false movements and create false statements and ruin people's lives just because they want to move one step ahead. That's what it's really about. Now, granted, back in the day, it was started for a really good cause, because there are a lot of women of color in low wealthy neighborhoods that don't get help, and they honestly feel afraid to go somewhere to get help. That is a fact. It is a fact that, there are cases of men out there doing horrific, bad things. But not every single guy is like that. But according to these women that have got behind this movement, we're automatically bad. We're automatically this and that. That's just like there was a statement released from a girl at, I want to say Princeton, that said that, how did she word it? Like, 3 out of every 10 guys are a rapist automatically. What? Where did you pull that number out of your ass at? Do you get what I'm saying? So you get 10 of us together, 3 of us are just like these monsters automatically. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Where's your evidence? You have none. 0. You're simply just going off of feelings, At one point, it would just be like, wow, this motherfucker broke my heart, and now I'm going to fucking do this. And the whole neighborhood would be like, well, we kind of know what happened. Yeah, he was an asshole. But, But now it's like, oh my God, he did what? I just read that on Twitter. I just read that on Facebook. I just read that on Instagram. Oh my God, we got to help you. You poor little thing. Bam, you're fired. Bam, you lose your deals. Bam, you lose your record deal. Bam, you're dropped from your record label. Bam, people are going, I don't want to work with you. And all of a sudden, you're cast into the shadow of the ultimate deceit, the ultimate monster that you could be, you're placed in simply because somebody got mad at you. You see, that's what we're talking about. I didn't really want to get into it, but I kind of ended up doing it anyways. I mean, and if I'm wrong, once again, like I always have said, send me a message through this app and I will get back to you as soon as possible. We could talk about it. Tell me how I'm wrong. I would love that. Tell me how I'm wrong. And if I am, and you really come at me with some evidence that I am, then I'm going to be like, hey, maybe I should have worded that a little bit different. But ultimately, I really feel I'm right on this one. I mean, at first it started off as a good thing. It ended up as a major bad thing with people just trying to get ahead in life and take over different industries. What's happened is you're getting like this whole workforce that doesn't want to work with the opposite sex. Men are literally scared to work with females at this point. This is an alarming trend going on right now. I want to say New York Times is the one that reported that 48% of men feel uncomfortable to work around women. You know why? It's because of the Me Too movement. We could deal with feminism, but this is just crazy. This is just like, where do we go? What do we do? What are we allowed to do? I feel like men are like kind of like kids at this point. We don't know what we're allowed to do because we might upset the woman. We need some hard lines here. Tell us. I mean, honestly, just make a legit argument about it and let us know how we're wrong. Because most of you can't. You're just relying on the fact. And then whenever they don't want to come forward because they know they don't have evidence to back it up, it's just, what they resort to? I'm too terrified to testify. I'm too terrified to speak out about it. I mean, I know that I've already ruined his career and I've ruined his life, and but I'm just too traumatized to go into detail about it. Mainly the reason why they're saying that is because they've forgot half of what they said in the first place. And because they have no evidence to back up what they're claiming. You get what I'm saying? And I want to end this with saying this. No, under any circumstances is rape okay. Rape is not okay. Slapping a girl on the ass is not okay. Touching her tits is not okay. Giving a woman a kiss without knowing her is not okay. Hell, giving a woman a kiss before she actually lets you know it's okay, that's just not acceptable either. There are very fine lines that have been established for years that us as men know that we are not allowed to cross. And when we do, other guys either beat our ass or we get arrested or whatever, because we know we crossed that fucking line. There are very fine lines, but this right here, this is a whole new playing field here. At this point, we don't even know what the hell we can and can't do. It's like we got to throw in the towel to the point to where they're saying we don't even want to work with them anymore. This is bad, people. Like I said before, a lot of what I'm trying to do with my show is to get people talking about things. I talked to 2 younger guys earlier this afternoon, and I asked them, I said, what do you think about the hashtag Me Too? What do you think about the Me Too movement? They both responded with, what is that? I was kind of dumbfounded by that, because a lot of younger millennial girls are so much into this. I mean, when you look over those numbers, 45%, 12 million, 1 million times, and, blah, 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 and it's all over the fucking news and all over fucking Facebook. Maybe there is hope. But once we went into it a little bit, they were like, well, fuck that shit. That's why I hate females anyways. That's what they said. That's why I hate females anyways. So that's what you're accomplishing, ladies. You're accomplishing this. Men don't want to work with you, and you're making resentment towards females. That's what you're accomplishing. Granted, you started off with a very good cause. I hope you get back to that worthy cause, and I hope you quit trying to launch these witch hunts to get rid of good people. And by the way, I do think that Bill Cosby should have been arrested years ago, not today. I think, years ago. I think it's sad. I also think it's sad that one of the viral things going on is that this afternoon is Bill Cosby's first meal was going to consist of Jell-O. What? You know what I'm saying? That was my reaction. What the fuck just happened? What did they just say? So, I guess in a way, long story short of it, I just think that Tarina Burke, in 2006, she started a very worthy cause. I really do think that your goal was extremely worthy of being called a good cause. But Tarina, just like everybody else knows, your cause has become a phony cause. What you sought out to do that was a just cause in the beginning has turned into nothing more than a witch hunt and kind of a stepping stone for feminists to ruin more guys. That's what your movement has done. So you might have intended for it to be a good thing, but at the end of the day, it's turned into an ugly thing. And as far as these actresses go, Lisa Milano, Jennifer Lawrence, Ashley Judd, Uma Thurman, you guys are all very talented. And I wish you guys did give more to the story than just Me Too. Because all you typed was Me Too. Because you were trying to make this Twitter go viral. You want that tweet to go viral. So you just jumped on that bandwagon and said, Me Too. Really? Explain yourself. What do you mean, Me Too? Because you guys are in a position of celebrity status. I don't remember her name, but there was an actress at the recent awards that said that the only good thing about these Oscars is the figure on it doesn't have male genitalia. Whoa. Okay. That's how you're feeling now? So that's what I'm talking about. This is nothing more than women trying to ruin men's lives. Because they're pissed off over something that happened, or they're pissed off that they didn't get the deal. They're pissed off that they didn't get the promotion. They're pissed off that some attractive guy didn't give them the time of day. They're just pissed the fuck off. Like the old saying goes, there is nothing worse than a woman scorned. Because when a woman's scorned, she's going to do anything she can to get back at you. So, we're going to end this little segment like that. I don't have a clue if I'm going to touch bases on that. I've been making plans to touch bases on everything I'm doing. This was actually meant to only be 10 minutes long, so I don't know exactly what happened. I'm glad it did happen, because like I said, normally I have a lot of research material. I did have research material on this, which is why I said this is actually found on their website. This is actually what social media representatives have said. And these are known female actresses that got behind it. The rest of it is just honest conversation. Except for the fact that Judge Thomas really did have that happen by the Democrats. And the Democrats are trying to do it, again, with Judge Kavanaugh. But, like I said, this is just honest conversation. Except for the fact that Judge Thomas really did have that happen by the Democrats. And the Democrats are trying to do it, again, with Judge Kavanaugh. Except for the fact that Judge Thomas really did have that happen by the Democrats. And the Democrats are trying to do it, again, with Judge Kavanaugh. I think that people need to really go into detail about this here. There's not enough out there to talk about things. So I'm going to let you guys go for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to continue to grow. I don't know what the next topic I'm going to go over is, but the Me Too topic, anytime I go on YouTube, anytime I go on Twitter, anytime I go on Facebook, it's popping up so much that I really felt the need to say something, mainly because of what happened to Judge Kavanaugh. That was whenever it was the last straw. Anyways, once again, take care. This is Blue Collar Thoughts. Simple guy, simple thoughts. If I'm wrong, message me, let me know.